Hey, everybody, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And what's great for your mental health is getting outside and working on those springtime projects.
And our boys over at the Hobby Tractor Store, Lance and Scott Sage, are here to help you no matter how big or how small those yard projects are, putting in the new yard, helping your neighbor, whatever the need is. These guys have a tractor, they have a lawnmower, they have lawn aerators, they have everything you need to get that yard cleaned up for the springtime. They also sell tough sheds custom built to what you need, so you can store that new tractor or that new lawnmower inside and keep it nice and pristine when it's. So go over and see our boys over at the Hobby Tractor Store and let them know that Scott and Hillary from Surviving Life's Pickles sent you in. Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of Surviving Life's Pickles. I'm Scott Martin, your host, and today I have the privilege of sitting here with Benjamin Lyne.
Lyne.
Lyne. Let's make sure we get that right.
That's all right. You're not the only one. I had an article published in a magazine. Ben Lyne. So that's all right.
Hey, not all of us are 100% perfect when it comes to English language. Well, before we jump into the episode, like we start off every episode, we're going to talk about what we're grateful for today. And I'm going to start it off today. And I really just want to mention how grateful I am for my pets and my dogs today. I've had the opportunity to take one of them to the vet every day for last week because she has a torn meniscus. So we're doing therapy with her. And today when I was there and they were doing the therapy, there was another family there experiencing the loss of their dog. And I remember going through that and how heartbreak and painful it is to lose that family member. And so just made me want to keep them close and love them, and glad that we were able to fix her so she can stay around for a handful more years with us. So I'm just super grateful for having them around and, having those companionships. And I take mine hiking all the time, so it's nice to have a hiking buddy. So
for sure.
But Ben, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful to be here. I've been working from about 7 a.m. until about 6:20.
Okay. So you've had a long day.
So anything to take my mind off of that. And I really enjoy speaking about this. I'm not the kind of person that goes out like, hey, look at me, and I want to speak and I want to do all these things. But when it comes to this,
you like talking about it.
I definitely like talking about it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, and that brings us to why we're here. I invited here, we're doing a lot of our mental health series this month, especially with men. And Ben's got an amazing story. I would say that he is the world-known sign runner guy because he's ran all over the world carrying a sign. And if any of you are watching the video, you can see the little sign here of I believe in you that he carries, that he 3D printed for us here. But it's pretty inspirational. We actually just recently had on John Kirkham, and he got inspired by you over there at Lehigh High School as a seminary teacher, and now has signs that he holds up when all his seminary kids walk through the door.
Oh, did he live out in Eagle Mountain?
He lives out in Lehigh.
Or did he teach out?
I think he's always taught at Lehigh.
Because his name sounds familiar.
I know he's reached out. He also has a podcast as well. And I think he said he'd reached out to you, but you guys...
I thought he might have been a seminary teacher at Westlake or somewhere.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But you've inspired him to really make a difference in the community, especially with his kids. And you've inspired a lot of people in this area just with what you do. And so a little bit of background from what I know, and we'll have him tell his story, but you see you running day, night, rain, snow, anything, and you were carrying a sign that says, I believe in you.
I actually have it here.
And not only do you have this, but you have a massive flag as well.
All right, so here's the sign for anybody that can see it.
Yep, love it.
It is. I have to sew it. It's actually, the pole's coming out of here, but yeah, I do have the flag too. Yeah, that's it's actually harder to run with. Some people saw me run with it and thought, oh, now he carries the flag, it's easier. No, it's not.
No. Well, I have to commend you. I've done running a handful. I did a 5K pushing a stroller, and that was awful. So the fact that you can run with these signs and run with the flag, that's a pretty impressive feat by itself.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder how. I'm just very blessed.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. When did this start? What kind of inspired you? How did this whole process get going for you?
Yeah, it's a good story. So when I think back from before I started, like what led me to start as well. I've been running since about 2006. I moved out to Eagle Mountain when there was not a lot of houses out there.
Okay.
First time I went out there, I thought, who lives out here?
Right.
There's nothing here. We've been driving along all day, and we found a house floor plan that we liked in an area, and so we decided to move. But there wasn't a lot of houses, and I made friends with the guy on the next street over who had the same house number. Got our mail sometimes and things like that. And went over to see him one day, and his wife's like, he's not here. He's out running 18 miles on Saturday morning, right at like 9 in the morning. And I'm thinking, who is this crazy guy? Like, who does that? I had run before, right? Like played basketball or when they make you run at school.
Yeah.
But I'd never really run. So he challenged me at one point. He's like, hey, let's go out and let's go for a run. Let's go for 2 miles. You can do 2 miles. And I like to be competitive. And so I thought, okay, like if he can do that, I'm looking at him like if he can do it, I could do it. And we were out running, and he was the only one. This is back in the day when nobody had Apple Watches. I'm old. This is
Well, 2006. I mean, smartphones were just getting introduced, really.
yeah. But he had this big Garmin watch.
Okay.
So he knew how far we were going. I had no clue. And we were about 2 miles out when I asked him, like, hey, are we halfway? And he's like, oh, we're 2 miles. And so we had to turn around and run back. And I was so dead. So I always accredit him for tricking me into running. But we started running together. We started running half marathons, really good friends.
Okay.
So we did all of that. And after so many years, I just got kind of tired of the schedule, right? Like I've got to run this many miles today because I have this race coming up. And I've run so many races and you get a lot of medals. And after a while, it's like, okay, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
As human beings, we always want to go into something else.
Yeah. Once you have accomplished kind of what you set out to do, it's time to move on to something new.
Yeah. And I still have to run, and it's a great stress reliever. It's a way, I go out with him and I would run and we would just have the best conversations, right? We'd have all these ideas like, hey, I could start a business together. We could do that. Like you're just flowing with thoughts. And after a while, just thought, I want to run for fun. I don't want to run like this anymore. So for a number of years, just ran for fun. And eventually, you go out and run. I go in the morning. There's a lot of people driving to work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people driving to school, taking their kids, whatever. I very rarely see somebody smile.
I can attest to that. Commuting to work.
And I remember doing that. Now I've been working at home now for about 13 years. So, I don't commute in, but I can remember what that felt like. So I started getting this feeling that, all these people that I pass, I'm stuck in my office all day. I'm in front of a computer. I don't get out. I want to make a positive impact. How can I do that while I'm out running? Right? Because I see all these people. Is there something I could do? Right? Like, could I hold a sign? Could I do something? I didn't really know at first what I was going to do, but I would have this thought over and over, and it wouldn't come every day. But when it did come, it was like, oh, I get really excited about it. And then I get home and then I go about my day and I think, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. What would people think? Right?
Yeah.
Some guy out, oh, he just wants attention. And that's not me. I do not want attention. And, stuff like, hey, saw your dad today, kids at school. He's crazy. Like, what's going on with him? He's out running. I don't want my kids getting made fun of. So there's all kinds of reasons. You let that doubt creep in.
Yeah.
And it did. And so this went on for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And eventually, I think what the main catalyst was, COVID happened. We had the lockdowns. Like all the political fighting really intensified, right?
Mm.
And I had some family members and things that, are on opposite sides of the spectrum. And I just started feeling kind of weary of society in general, right? Like there's all this negativity, there's all this fighting, there's like nothing was wrong. I had a great job, great family, everybody's healthy. Nothing was wrong in that way. But I was just feeling weary of society. And I was kind of sick of feeling that way. And I remember thinking, like, I remember the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You have to speak sometimes.
You have to get up and speak in front of everybody.
I remember thinking, like, I haven't spoken. Like, I was supposed to speak in church that day that they canceled church for COVID. And so I thought, it had been like 2 years, and then I got canceled. And I thought, it's been like a year since then. I hope they don't ask me to speak because I have nothing good to say. Like, I am not
You're not in a good headspace.
No, I'm not feeling inspirational. Like that's the last thing I wanted to talk about, right? Is, giving people advice on how to live a productive life or something. Like,
Right.
no way. And I remember thinking that. And then like a few days later, I get a call. We want you to speak in church.
You brought that to fruition, didn't you?
I guess it was like a premonition.
Yeah.
So I said yes. And then I just felt like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? Luckily, I had a couple weeks. I actually never had that long before. And I usually waited till like the night before or the morning of, right? And just kind of
put something together.
Yeah, like most people. But this time, it was like, I don't know what to do. So I just said a prayer the next day. I'm like, I'm sick of feeling like this. Like I want to feel different. I'm putting it out there. I want to feel different. I'm sick of this. Nothing changed. Nothing happened. My next running day, it was a Tuesday. I went out to run and just went my normal route. Just crossed the highway about a mile in. And then like it hit me like a ton of bricks. That idea that I had in my head, right, that kept coming back, just hit me. And it was like, it was forceful. It was like, you need to do that and you'll have something to talk about. You'll feel different. And it was like, it was the most amazing experience. And so I went back home. I'm all excited. I'm telling my wife I'm going to do this. She's like, awesome. Like, I don't know what she was thinking of it. I'm like, do you have poster board? Right. I want to run with a sign. And she's like, yeah, I have some. And so I was all excited. And again, as the day went on that day, I thought
all the doubts started coming in.
Yeah, I've got to do it this time though. The doubt's there, but I'm going to do it. So I plan to do it that next week. And I waited till the night before to make the sign. I was dreading it. And I figured it out. And I tried to write it and I screwed up. And I finally, I just printed it out on paper, Google Docs. I did like big letters and 2 letters a page, cut it out, taped it on, I believe in you, and thought, okay, I've got it. So tomorrow I'm going to do it, right? And I wake up in the morning and I'm just dreading it. I do not want people to look at me. I don't want people to think, what is he doing? And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. This is it. I'm not putting it off anymore. So I took it outside. There's a teenager walking to the bus stop, held it up for him. He's my neighbor. I just smiled. And I thought, well, that's not so bad. Teenagers can be really, like
if a teenager smiled.
Yeah, that's a good test. Right? And then I walked to the corner like I always do, started my run and just went. And then I saw a car coming and just for some reason thought, I want to hold it up, right? Just so excited. Hold it up above my head.
Yeah.
And she smiles and she's honking and just an awesome reaction. I thought that was so cool. And so like, I want to keep doing that. And so as I kept going, every time a car came, I'd hold it up. And for whatever reason, I decided like a 5-mile run. I didn't think about the extra load on my cardio system.
Yeah. Holding that above your head with the wind resistance.
Yeah, and on your heart, right? And I have my watch and I look at it about halfway through because I'm like, I'm not feeling great.
Yeah.
And I'm like 20 beats per higher than I normally am a minute. And so I thought, crap, I've got to make it all the way back. I'm 2.5 miles in. I got to go back. And the way back, it was a loop and the rest of it was on the highway. So it was just constant cars. And I remember thinking like, I can't do this. Like I'm going to die, but I was holding it up, right? I was struggling and it was so much fun. And I made it. I got back. And then I knew like that's the special thing. I need to keep doing that. And so I did it a few more times. I did eventually speak in church. I actually spoke about that experience.
Okay.
After I was done, I had 20 people text me, come up to me like that. What you said was for me. That was exactly what I needed to hear right now. Right. It was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I want to keep doing this. I don't want to stop doing this. And so that's kind of how it all came about. Just lots of different factors. But I'm glad I finally listened.
And then once you listen, I mean, it's funny because the way you were describing that was really kind of the same thing that happened with this when we were starting this whole journey in the podcast. We kind of had this idea that we needed to do something. And then one day we were out paddleboarding and boom, I mean, it hit us like a ton of bricks. It was like, this is what you need to do and you need to start it now.
Don't wait.
So, yeah. And so I totally understand that feeling and just the universe just coming out and just saying, look, people need that in your life and you're the one that can bring it. And really, I think you're the only one that can deliver the message the way you're delivering it, because I don't know if anybody else wants to run with a sign for that long. So that in itself proves that it was for you.
There are other people. I've been able to talk to some people.
Yeah.
But,
I have
yeah.
seen you've had some partners and had some people go along with you a little bit, and you
Yeah.
and inspired a lot of the community. Let's talk about, I mean, what things have you seen in the community since you started doing this?
Oh, geez. So I did it for a couple of weeks, and I run 3 times a week,
Okay.
and I'll average like, sometimes I'll run 4, maybe like longer, like 6, 7, whatever. So I average like 5 miles, and I did it for a couple of weeks. I didn't get a lot of feedback as far as like, hearing from people. And so for that first couple of weeks, I thought how, and my body was feeling it a little bit. Because you're running this direction, but there's cars over here, and so I try to do
Turn
this,
and
but go
hold it
this
for
way.
them.
So my hips started to feel a little bit, my shoulders, things like that. I didn't know how long I could do it. Should I do it once a week? Should I do it once a month, or should I do it every time? I don't know if
Yeah.
I can. So I was trying to figure all that out, and I hadn't heard a lot of feedback. So it's just, kind of what should I do kind of thing. And when I was feeling that way, it's just funny because I was feeling that way, and then I get home, I get a text from a friend. And he's like, "Hey, somebody's giving you love in a Facebook group." And I wasn't in that group. And so I joined and I got in there and look at it, and there's like 400 likes and like 50, 60 comments.
Just of a picture of you running.
Yeah. And from that
Okay.
morning,
Okay. Wow.
just a couple hours before, and I'm thinking, holy crap. Like, and I'm reading all the comments, right? And it's like the guy that posted it, he's thank you so much to this guy. I was with my daughter on her way to school. I was taking her to school, and we had this conversation. It sparked this conversation about, yeah, we need to, believing in yourselves and doing great things. And it was so amazing. Like, thank you. Right. And then people are like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, I saw him too. And all this stuff. And I'm just reading all of these things. And then, just more people posted and more people posted. And I started getting stuff from my kids like, hey, a friend told me this or texted me this. Somebody showed up at the house, just all of these stories started coming in. Hey, what you're doing, it's huge. It made a difference. Some people, just in their day, like, hey, I didn't even think I would need something like that, but it made my day better.
Yeah.
Or, it made my whole month better. Or I had somebody text my daughter and say, I didn't know that was your dad. Let me tell you the other day, what happened. I was arguing with my parents about going back to school. I didn't want to go back to school, and I hated it. And I decided not to, and they were mad at me, and I left the house and I went out driving, and then I saw your dad. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. Like stuff like that, right? And eventually it turned into, you saved my life.
Yeah.
I had an experience. A guy pulled over and pulled me aside and just said, hey, I was out. I had just talked to some people, and I'm out of options. I was going to go end my life. And then I saw you. And I decided, I'm not going to do that. And he didn't. So like stories like that, I knew there's no way I could stop doing it.
Yeah. Especially.
I don't care if I'm sore. If my legs fall off, I'll just get a wheelchair or whatever, right? Like, I'm not going to stop doing this, and I've got to spread this. I can't be everywhere, and maybe I can convince other people. So yeah, people in the community, it's probably about 6 months in, I had a guy kind of post like, hey, I saw you. Can I join you? So I went and ran with him, and he loved it. And I gave him a sign, and he started running with it. And then I had some other people do the same thing, right? Like, I would start about 6 months in. I hadn't really posted on social media because, again, I don't want attention.
You're not the attention guy. Yeah.
Right. And when I did start posting, before that, I would always take a picture of the sunrise. And for years, if you go back and look at my like Facebook account, it's all just sunrises.
Okay.
And then it started being, okay, the sunrise, but I'd put my sign down somewhere and take a picture.
You were still out of the picture.
Right. I was out of the
Yeah.
picture. One of the guys is like, you need to be in the picture. It means more. And I was like, it's not about me. And he's like, it is about you. Like, you holding that sign, like, it's powerful. You need to be in the picture. And so, like, you're right. I do. Kind of helped me paint that picture. And somebody else said on a comment, like, if someone's like, oh, you could put it on a t-shirt, or you could, attach it some other way so you don't have to hold it. And someone's like, no, him holding it
Yeah.
and struggling in the wind or the rain or whatever, that just makes it more powerful. And so other people, kind of educating me, because I've not seen somebody out while I've been driving. But they're telling me like, this is how powerful it is. And so I really wanted to get other people involved, and I've been able to get, a good group of guys and get different people, guys and gals, that may not do it all the time. for whatever reasons. But yeah, my goal is to really spread it. But the community support has been crazy. Eagle Mountain last year said, "Hey, why don't you be our city ambassador?" Right?
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I don't want to. Do I
That's
want to
not
do
me.
that? Okay. But let's just work together once a month. We'll do a reel together and all of these things. So I feel I've been doing it now for over 3 years.
Okay.
When I go out, I just feel so connected to everybody. I feel like I care about everybody,
Yeah.
and that I'm seeing hundreds of people, and that it's helping a lot of those people and making a big difference. It's the best feeling in the world.
Well, and you don't know. I mean, you're inspiring these people, and they've come up and tell you these amazing stories of how you've saved their lives, literally. And that just goes back. We've talked about a lot here. Is you never know what somebody else is going through.
No,
And
yeah,
sometimes all it takes is a smile or a hello or an inspirational guy running down the street holding a sign. Like
yeah.
that literally can change everybody's world.
No matter how pathetic he looks.
Or how tired he looks. No, it's pretty powerful what one person can do and what you've done in the community. Like I was saying, you've inspired a seminary teacher to hold signs up. He now
That's
has
so cool.
his students go around, and this literally happened because of all of this that you've created. He had one student go to the Macy's parking lot with a Post-it stack and wrote "You're awesome" on Post-it notes and stuck them on every single car's window.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was all
What a
because
great idea.
he had seen you run.
Oh,
He started holding the signs, and then his students like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to spread a little joy." And it's just a domino effect of what's
yeah,
happening.
that's humbling.
I mean, it's amazing to see there is still good. There's so much good in humanity. Sometimes it just takes a little spark, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's exactly what it is. So another thing I've learned is that, you think most people are just like, oh, everything's terrible. I'm sick of my job. I don't like my whatever it is, right? Like there's just like, there's so much to be like, ugh, about life.
Right.
But I think everybody's like this close to feeling great. They just need that.
That little push,
Yeah.
little nudge.
They need, they saw me for a few seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they need. And then they do the rest.
Right.
So I'm barely, like, I'm already running anyway. I tell people, like, I might as well hold it, right? I'm already running.
Yeah.
Might as well, try to do as many things as I can while I'm exercising.
Well, just think about how much more fit you are now, right?
That's right. People are like, oh, you must be jacked. Like, no, endurance muscles aren't jacked muscles, but there's also a good layer of fat, over those things. It's a protective layer.
Yeah. So we talked about a little bit about community. How has it changed your family life now? Like, I know your wife was probably that first time, but what's happened at home since you started doing this? And again, how many kids do you have at home? And
I have 5.
Okay.
So 3 at home.
Okay.
I have a daughter. Man, I'm old. She's almost 22.
I have a 26-year-old, so I feel
yeah, it's a good experience. My older son is at college as well, so I have 3 at home.
Okay.
I've been married for, oh my gosh, 23 years this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so at first, like with teenagers, I don't know how the teenagers are going to react to it. You think that, I forgot all this positive reaction. It's like, okay, they probably think it's cool, but I never sat him down like, what do you think about what I'm doing? Right? Like, do you like it? Do you not, or whatever? Are you embarrassed by it? Because I have a daughter that's, I think one time, she's in junior high. It's like last year or the year before, but their bus was driving. I was out. They saw me, and the bus driver's like, Lola Lyne, stand up right now. Like, and get recognition.
Man.
And she's like, I do not want, right? She's kind of like me. She's like, I didn't want that. And so like she stood up and everybody's like, yeah, that's your dad or whatever. And so there's some of that. The way I learned about it more about how they felt about it is through their friends.
Okay.
Right? Because they're friends.
Because they'll talk to their friends and
react to it.
The friends will react or
I think my older son, before he went to college, they were talking about where they're going to go to college with friends and mentioned Weber State because I went to Weber State. Okay. And someone's like, oh, Weber State sucks. And he's like, well, my dad went there. And he's like, oh, Weber State's cool. Your dad's cool.
Just like that changes the narrative.
Right. And it's just funny. And my kids support me, right? If I do an event or I do whatever, like they're there. They love wearing the shirt and things like that. And it's fun. My wife, she'll go, I get sick of running in loops.
So you got to try new routes.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll just be like, it's Saturday, whatever. Can you pick me up somewhere when I'm done? and I'm just going to run one direction.
There you
The
go.
flag too, I kind of have to. If I change directions and I run a different way, like it'll blow a weird way.
Yeah.
So I have to plan that out. But
It gets really tiring carrying a flag that size.
yeah. Yeah, there's some tricks you can do, but she helps me, you know, she goes and picks me up from runs, and I think everybody in my family just really thinks, you know, to what people when they think of you, right? They think, okay, I thought of this too, like going through COVID and going to different funerals and different things and being in that low state that I was in. What are people going to remember you for? I'm sitting at the funerals and they're talking about, I remember this, I remember that. And it's like, what would people say about me? What really matters? The only thing that matters is people. So, well, obviously animals do, but you know, things that are alive matter.
Well, and you put, while you're saying this, you put this vision in my head. Not that I want you to pass away anytime soon, but I can see when you reach that age and it's your time, I can see everybody in your funeral and celebrating you. Everybody in the crowd is going to hold up a sign as they carry your coffin out. Everybody in there, and I just see it's your legacy. It's what you're going to be remembered for. It's what your kids are going to be remembered for. It's like, hey, your dad started something. That's pretty awesome.
I hope so. It's the good thing is it's so much fun to do.
Yeah.
It's just like I was pretty resilient before that. Like I would never say, oh, I'm depressed. Everybody gets depressed to a degree.
Yep.
And I would say I was the most depressed I've ever been was right at that, you know, that moment where I was weary of kind of everything going on. But I use it more of like a fuel, like, okay, I'm kind of angry about that. I'm going to use that as fuel. Yeah. But man, I lost my job and it's a good situation. Like I had severance and things like that. And it was totally unexpected because I was a top performer. And I think the problem is I became too expensive.
That's what happens.
Because I'm old, like we talked about, right? I've been around for a long time. But even that, it's like some days it really sucks. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I interviewed, right? And I got to a point, oh, we're going with somebody else. And it's like, what am I going to do? I have to kind of start over again. And even that, like, because I do what I do, I don't have a bad day.
Yeah.
Right? I don't truly have a bad day anymore.
Yeah, because you're starting your day off by helping other people. You're starting your day off with service. And that's the complete opposite of
that's the secret.
I mean, it really is. It's going out and serving your fellow man. I mean, that just makes all the difference in the world.
It really is. I've done a lot of side businesses and things and hobbies, and they always turn into a chore. They always turn into something, you know, a responsibility. This never feels like that.
That's awesome.
Of course, I don't make money with it, but that's really the key. But
I think the reason you don't make money yet is Nike hasn't reached out. It's coming. One of these shoes companies to see what's going to happen, and they're going to make a shoe just for you.
The problem is, I mean, I don't want to be seen as, oh, he's out there because he's getting paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You don't want to end up in that. But you've been doing it long enough now. I don't think it would ever be perceived that way because it's been going on for so many years.
Yeah. It would be fun if I could do this full time.
Yeah.
If I could focus on this and do events and travel around and get other people that would be a dream.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I just have to figure out how.
Well, I'm going to throw it out there because I know my buddy Jeremy Howlett listens every once in a while. He's the one that was part of starting Ultra Shoes.
Oh, really?
I'm throwing it out to Jeremy. If you're listening, I think you guys need to get in touch, man. Come on. So, but I mean, yeah, but think about that. That would be incredible to go around to marathons, go around to different fundraising and just meet people, run with them. Start off the Boston Marathon carrying the sign. How awesome would that be?
It would be hard. So I ran one marathon with it.
Yeah.
I did St. George.
Okay.
And I had done it a couple times earlier, but I did it. It was 2022.
You got a lot more experience on your belt now.
Yeah, that was tough though. And I trained with it.
Okay.
And then I ran it and there were muscles in my body that just started shutting down, like in weird spots about like mile 18. And I had a hard time. Like that was a really hard one to do that, you know.
I bet that was pretty incredible to be running that entire race and seeing all the people in the crowd, people on the sidelines and the different runners that may be even struggling as you're passing them and they get that little extra boost.
Yeah, or people helping me, right? Seeing me struggling. I had some really cool experiences. Towards the end too, I was at mile like 21 and I'd run it a couple times before, so I knew how far I had to go. And I pulled my phone out, I texted my wife, like, I'm struggling. Like, say a prayer or something. Send some good vibes my way. I need some energy. She goes off and she texts family members, friends, and she only texts the ones that she knows, like, that respond quickly.
Okay.
And she's like, text him right now, text him, whatever. So I started getting a flood of motivation, right?
Awesome.
I love you. You're so amazing. All this stuff. And Siri's reading it all as I'm running, right? And so that, I think that got me through it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You've inspired them and they wanted to give back to you of what you gave to them. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's that
For
full,
sure.
that full circle. It's coming
For sure.
around. Yeah. So you've talked about a couple of these amazing experiences. I mean, especially just the guy pulling over and said you literally saved his life. Other than that, is there another one or two experiences as you've been doing this that really stand out, that really just put that to home of you're doing the right thing?
That's a good question. That's by far those experiences have happened. I've had a couple other people tell me that kind of more informally and like after and things like that as well. So those ones always stand out, right? Life and death is serious,
Right.
for sure. I've just had, if you're looking at like second best or third, but like that's hard. I've had so many.
Yeah.
Just things that pop into mind. Like my favorite thing for work, part of my work is to travel a little bit.
Okay.
I work at home and then we get on these projects with customers and sometimes they want to meet in person. So we go out and I just love that because I get to go to a new place and I go out and run in the community. Right. Or, you know, I go visit family. So in Michigan, I had a trip to go see my sister and her husband just for a weekend. And I went out to run and I'm running. Lady pulls over and she's sobbing and she's just, I can tell she's a mom. She's driving a minivan. That's probably an indicator that she's a mom. I don't know anybody that drives one that does not want kids. Yeah. But she's just sobbing and she's just like, thank you so much. Like, you don't know how much this helped me. Right. Just stuff like that.
Complete stranger.
Yeah. Complete stranger. And I'm thinking, it's just, I mean, I can feel like, I know, you know, I have my wife obviously and things like that. And she's probably had a rough time and there's stuff going on in her life and she's just feeling overwhelmed. And she saw me and just, yeah, I feel for her. And those kinds of things hit me, right? Because you have these emotional experiences with people and it doesn't matter that they're a stranger. They don't know who you are or you don't know who they are. It's just, and that's why I feel so connected. But I've had so many of those that it's hard, especially getting old. I can't remember all of them. I try to have, you know, make sure I save them and things like that. But yeah, there's not, as far as like a second best, there's just not one. They're all,
they're all equally
tie.
good. Well, and that's amazing that they are all that powerful to you. Not one really stands out more than the other because that means you've touched so many different people at that level.
It's all I want to do. I wish I didn't have to work. Wait, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
No.
All you got to do is run right now. Yeah. So you talk about going around different places. You just got back from Italy.
Yeah.
Correct? And I seen that you had an Italian, I believe you signed, running next to the Coliseum and different things. How was that experience completely over there, different language? How was that received?
Yeah, that's another good question. And we probably wouldn't have done that trip had I known I was going to lose my job, but we already paid for it.
As long as you enjoyed it and had fun, that's all that matters. Memories.
So yeah, we love to travel. So everybody has their things, right, that they spend their money on. We love to go on trips. Yeah, we were the end of last year, we were in Japan.
Okay.
And I did the same thing there. I have the Japanese sign. But some friends wanted to go. He had a business trip to Barcelona, which I had been to already. And then after that was over, we were going to go to Rome. So he wanted us to kind of like come into Barcelona, do some stuff together, and then go to Rome and do that and leave. So I actually made two signs. Because I made
one in Spanish and then one.
No, Catalan.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know, in Barcelona, the number one language is Catalan, which is kind of, it's like a mixture of Spanish and French. And I already have a Spanish sign because I've been to Spain before that, and you know, Mexico and things like that. But yeah, I made a sign in Catalan and ran out to Sagrada Familia, a big, it's a basilica, or they call it a church. It's like it's going to be like the tallest in the world, the biggest. It's an amazing building. Yeah. So I went out in the morning. That was interesting. Had some really good, at the end of that one though, I had a whole group, it looked like about 20-year-olds. And they started talking to me in Catalan. I'm like, no, I don't speak Catalan.
You're like, I can only write
American. But they're like, why do you do that? That's and like I explained it to them. Like, that is so cool. Like, we love you, we support you. And there was like, 10 of them.
Yeah.
Cool experiences like that. We went to Italy. Yeah, I went out that morning. That morning actually wasn't that long of a run. I went out, got some pictures, did some running, started pouring like crazy, and that's not why I came back, but there's just so much to see there, right? You just find like, oh, I'm gonna see this and see that.
You get sidetracked.
I didn't get very far.
Yeah.
Plus I got poured on. But I went out again a couple days later, and I went and I ran out. It's a really cool place, like where the old ancient city of Rome is the city center, where it had the Forum and the Colosseum and all those ancient, you know, a lot of them are ruins. Colosseum's probably the best preserved. Everything else is just like a couple pillars and things like that. They had the Circus Maximus, which is the chariot racing track. And it's still there, and you can just run around, you know, the gravel.
So did you run around it with?
Yeah, so I went out there, and the reaction from the Italian people was probably, so I've run in France, I've run in Spain, I've run in Japan. Like their reaction, I all had good reactions everywhere. And it's kind of scary because you go to a new culture and you think,
you don't know how
what's the reaction gonna be?
Right.
But even in something like Japan, where it's completely different, you know, in Asia, we're not in Europe, where you think, okay, culture is completely different. Like they value not causing issues in public, right? Like causing
they're very secluded in the state of themselves.
I had so many people react, and I had people, I was running down, there's a bunch of people, and they were just clapping, and it was so awesome. But in Italy, just like the people's reaction in general, like the entire time, just everybody was just smiling. And I got to I was down the Circus Maximus, you know, showing signs of some people out walking, went up to the top of the hill and held it up, and everybody's like, yeah. And I'm running down by the Coliseum, and everybody's just like, this is awesome, right? Just amazing. And a guy tries to speak to me in Italian, and luckily he spoke English. Same thing, like, why do you do this? Why are you? And I just want to help lift people up. And he's just like, that's the most amazing thing. And it was just, I just want to do this all the time. I want to travel around, you know, have events or whatever, and just be around people, but get out and just do this all the time until like I die of a heart attack or something, because it's so fun.
Well, it proves to you that you've been to all these different places around the world, and everybody speaks the same language.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be happy.
Yeah. Love is universal too.
And and what you've experienced it, you know, firsthand with all these people that don't even speak your language, and you can just feel that connection you're making with them just by doing what you're doing.
As long as I get the translation right.
Right. That could be a little difficult if you didn't do that, for sure. So
yes.
No, that's pretty inspiring. I mean, I wish I could still run. Unfortunately, breaking my back twice allows me not to go very long. I can go about a mile, so maybe I should start running a mile.
Yeah, well, you don't have to run.
I can just walk.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it's just empowering what you're saying happens. I mean, it's just amazing to hear about all the stuff, and just in our little community here in Utah County, and how much you've changed, and how many people know about you. It's pretty amazing.
That is a little crazy. It's weird sometimes. I'm out, like, hey, you're that sign guy, aren't you? Can I get a picture with you? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, you're getting the attention, but it's all for good reasons, which is amazing.
For sure. I mean, and then they tell me story, or, you know, one lady hugged me so hard one time, I thought she was going to break my back. She had hugged me so hard. It meant so much to her. And it's just like, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I can just feel it coming off you, how much you enjoy it and how much it gives back to you.
Yeah.
Like you say, how much it enriches your life just by going out and doing this. And
keeps me younger, I think.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
So you're going to be doing that. You're going to be 90 years old running.
Be hunched over.
So
I hope so. Every day, just thank God. I just, that I'm still can run, you know, that nothing's happened to me. I don't have any health issues that cause me to not be able to run, to be unhealthy. I obviously watch what I eat. I obviously try to be healthy. But I also have donuts and ice cream and, you know, things like that. But
work it off with as much as
I just like, I woke up again today, and I can do it again today. Like, thank you so much that I can do this, because I don't know how long it's going to last. And that's why I want to spread it. I want other people to do it. And I want to focus on, actually, before I lost my job, I was just about to launch my nonprofit. And the whole purpose of it was to spread this.
Okay.
And to, you know, go out to run clubs and get them signs and just spread all that. And had it almost all ready to go, and then I lost my job. I've been focused on that.
Yeah.
So it's still there, and it'll come out soon. But yeah, I want everybody everywhere to see someone like me wherever they live, right? And it's a problem. It's not going to go away. This isn't, usually when you start a nonprofit, they say, like, write out your goal as to like what's going to be taken care of. Like, someday this goal is going to be met. It's going to put me out of business, and I'm going to love that, right? Because I reached my goal.
Yeah,
We need the motivation all the time, every day,
we do.
everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and so I don't work, but I volunteer for the I Love You Bro group.
Oh yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board and I'm one of the group
Awesome.
leaders here. I host the PG group here weekly. And
Oh, cool.
it is one of those things that it's unbelievable how much it's growing. Like you say, there's always going to be that need. And I see it
Yeah.
every week. I see it every day with these guys that reach out that are struggling, with the new guys that come to group, and, the connections that we make in these groups and the connections we make with everything going on. It's a huge need. And it's just amazing to be part of it and be part of something like that. And so I think your nonprofit will take off once you get a little bit of energy focused back to it, and it'll do good things. You'll start to do this. And
yeah, I got to tackle that problem where, people don't want to run with the sign. I got to get runners if I could just get like 1% of runners, right?
that's huge.
1%.
That's really huge.
That'd be a lot of people. I've
Yeah.
gone to San Francisco and run in a lot of areas where there's lots of running groups and different things, right? And I've gotten really good responses. I just need to focus in, right, and put some more effort into it, and make sure that I'm in a spot in life where I'm back, not worrying about certain things.
Yeah.
I can do that for
Keep
sure.
the roof over your head and the bills paid.
Yeah, and
Once
it's
that
kind of
happens,
important.
yeah.
I mean, me, I could just sleep out on the street, but my family might have a problem with that.
Yeah, they might not like you as much then. But before we jump into the next question I have for you, we're doing our big I Love You Bro fundraiser. It's the biggest event we do all year.
I was at the fire one.
It is the fire one.
Yeah.
You need to come out with your sign and walk around.
Yeah, I did that last time
When they were out in
in Eagle Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. My son loved that too, the fire walk.
Yeah.
Kind of burned my toe a little bit.
Well, we're expecting 3,000 to 5,000 people this year.
Oh wow. How many were last year then? Out there?
Almost 2, a little over 2, I think.
Okay, it's like double this year.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and you got to think. So last year when they had it, Joe threw it together in 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. I was
And
talking to him about that.
There was only two support groups at that time. We now have,
Oh, right.
we now have
Right.
6 support groups weekly. That's going to be 7 by the time we do that. So I mean, that's how much we've grown. So it's
Wow. Yeah.
it's going to be a huge event.
That's cool.
Last I heard, I think there's 40 vendors signed up to be there.
When is it?
June 14th.
June 14th.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll
That's
hit
good
it
to
out.
hear.
Alex Bouillet's going to sing there too.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, that'll be cool.
So, but yeah, you have to come and
Firewalk's awesome.
yep, walk across with the sign. You got to do it.
I got to make it a yearly thing now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
well, that brings up the next thing, and I'm really excited to talk about this. You've traveled all the world. You've inspired people from what you've been doing, but now you're going to try to set a world record. Let's hear about this world record and what
Yeah.
that is and how that came about.
Yeah. So again, I get these thoughts, right? And I think the people on my mind the most, and it's probably because I have kids, are kids, especially
Yeah.
teenagers.
They're the ones that struggle right now.
Yeah, and you hear so many stories and things about teenagers struggling and suicides and things like that, right? There's a lot of things that I wish I could do for people, and so I'm always thinking, how can I help these kids besides just running around, right? And they see me and they like it, and it's been fun. One of my son's friends, or several of his friends have, they got into it for a while too, and were running around and doing it with me, and it's so cool to get the kids involved.
Yeah.
Not that they're any, adults are less important, but we all know.
Future. Right.
Yeah, and as a teenager, it's rough. It's a rough transition.
Yeah.
Into adulthood. So I would run out to it's on an Eagle Mountain. I'm not sure if you're familiar with kind of the layout, but there's kind of like we have City Center, which is kind of like
The one that's way out there.
way out there. It's where the city building is. There used to be no stores
Right. It was just the city
or
building.
anything, right? When we lived out there, there wasn't a store or even a gas station, but we moved north across the highway on the
Okay.
very north side, and now there's all kinds of stuff out there, which is great. But they built, the high school and the middle school, and they're about a mile apart. So I go out there and I run, right, and I'd try to do it in the mornings, when school's kind of starting and things like that, and I'm running from like the middle school to high school and back and forth and things like that, thinking, what can I do to involve these kids? And I had this idea that, hey, I did an event. It was a couple years back. Put it out there that, hey, I'm gonna get together. We're gonna hold signs. We're not gonna go run. All right. So all you need to do is show up. You make a sign. We're gonna stand out by the park out there, and just get together and just do that for a couple of hours. So that was kind of a test, right, to see how that would go. And doing events is hard, right? You have all these people like, oh yeah, I think I'll go to that. But when it comes to the date, they're like, well, I'm busy, or
Yeah, it's a lot of
it's
work.
hard to get people to show up. And especially if you involve, that kind of scale that you were talking about. So this is just a simple thing. And it was, it was tough, but we got about 30 or 40 people over the couple hours. And it went really well. And I thought, okay, this is cool. I wonder if we could do this bigger though, right? Like, could we really, let's involve the kids, right? Kind of focus on the kids. Community event, but I want the kids there.
Yeah.
As well. Let's see if we can form a mile long chain between the middle school and the high school, because that big park is there, Quarry Red Park. There's not a lot of side streets in between. There's this big,
Just a big straight
big
road.
path sidewalk right there. And I measured it, and on the map, I'm like, it's like a mile. It's basically a mile. We should go for a world record and see if we can start a world record, right?
Yeah.
Consecutive people in a consecutive chain holding motivational signs. And I wanted to pitch it to the city, because to have an event like that, right, that you have to close a couple of roads. I don't want to be sued if something happens.
Right.
So I knew that I couldn't do it unless I could get the city on board. And being, the ambassador to the city,
That helped a little bit.
that helps, right? So I pitched it to them and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I keep having this idea. It's just kind of like when I first started running with the sign, like I was having the idea over and over again. We should do this. And they loved the idea. And so we met and kind of figured out the logistics, right? That they would actually sponsor it as a city event, which is super helpful, because then we get the sheriffs there, and we get, the insurance. They have the insurance policy. So I wouldn't get sued if something happened, and their staff would help out. And then I went to the schools and said, hey, what's the best time to do this, right? I want to do it. I don't want to do it like right after school's out and the summer's starting, because then like people are taking off.
Yeah.
They're going on vacation. So I want it to be close enough still, but I don't want to do it like end of the school year, and it's like graduation and all these things. Like, what if we did it kind of on like the last day or the second to last day of school, when nothing's going on, all the graduations happened. And I worked it out, like, okay, let's do it May 22nd, right, on a Thursday, which is basically the last day of school. They have that school day on Friday where you go for like 2 hours, nothing happens.
Yeah.
But it's the day after the high school graduation. And so we got it set up and, put the word out into the community. And I've had people reach out and said, hey, I'm going to need aid stations. Basically, every so often, we're going to need a canopy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have some poster board and markers, some water, some first aid, right? People need some assistance that way, because, this event is a mile long, right? We need to make sure we cover that. And so many people have reached out, like Chick-fil-A messaged me and said, hey, how about we do 1,000 free sandwiches?
I've seen that. That's
right. It's like, okay, cool. And yeah. And they said, well, yeah. And then, when we run out, because I know you need about 1,800 people, when they run out of sandwiches, we'll give them gift cards. And, just awesome stuff like that. And then on a smaller scale too, just like local people were like, hey, I want to sponsor an aid station. I want to come and help. And I've had so many people reach out and do that. And, all those slots are filled now, and I had to add more as well. But it's going to be May 22nd. We're trying to make that mile long. I mean, 1,800 people standing side by side.
Okay.
Right. We need a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the best thing anybody can do to help is just
Spread
get
the word.
word out.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere nearby and you can make it on that day, please show up. Get some free Chick-fil-A, have a good time, be part of a world record attempt. Right? I say attempt because I'm not sure if we're going to make it. I'm also not sure if we're going to have too many, because if we have too many, right, that's a problem too.
Yeah.
How do you measure the rest? How do we measure, and how do we wrap it around the corner? And do we have to shut down another road? Right? There's a lot of things, but I definitely wish that that's the problem, right? Not the other way around. Right. But yeah, we'll just see how many people we can get to show up.
Well, and if you just go too many, you'll just count how many people you had instead, right? Maybe you'll be able to say I had 3,000 people standing in a line.
Yeah, we can still measure it. I talked to
the
city too, and I said, hey, let's do this every year.
Yeah,
and let's make it longer every year. All right. And I wonder if if eventually we could make it so long that we connect it to Saratoga Springs, right?
Right.
I wonder how long this could get. Right. I mean, it's cool to think about that we could make this thing a really big deal. And it's not about me, and it's not about, necessarily the city. It's just let's bring us all together, and let's do something insanely positive. Yeah. All in one
spread it, because I mean, you do this and it's gonna pretty much go viral. It's gonna go everywhere. It's gonna be all over the country and probably all over the world once you hit this record. And especially, I mean, did you have to contact the Guinness World Records and say, "Hey, I'm doing this"? Do you have to have somebody come out?
So
How
I
does that
have
all work?
contacted them. I'm working with them right now. I don't know if we're going to be able to certify it with them.
Okay.
But I don't really care either.
Yeah.
Right. It's
That's not
still,
that's not the goal.
they are a certifier of their records. There's also other groups that certify world records.
Okay.
It's a world record to me either way. I know nobody else has done it.
Right. Right.
But I would love for other people to attempt it. Right. So either way, it's going to be a world record. I think Guinness is wanting to charge some insane, like $16,000 or some
Just to do it.
some ridiculous thing. So I'm trying to work it out with them. If it doesn't work out, it's gonna count as a world record.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, your next goal is to do it on the Wall of China. Right.
I would love it. I would love nothing more than to focus on doing events like this.
So it's going to be May 22nd
Yep.
out in Eagle Mountain. What time are you asking people to start getting there?
So it's going to start at 3, which is after both schools get out, but we're actually not going to line up until 4 p.m.
Okay.
So there's time because there's some other elementary schools and things getting out. But yeah, 4 p.m. is when we're going to line up. So you show up at 3, get some free food, make your sign.
Okay.
It's going to take a little bit of coordination, right, to make sure everybody's spread out. And then at 4, we're going to try and hold it for about half an hour, so 4 to 4:30.
Okay.
Get some good video evidence of it,
Yeah.
right, and things like that. And then after that, it's head home. It's a quick thing, show up, line up, do the world record, and go.
Yeah. So do you have anybody set up to do any drone footage or anything yet?
No, I don't. That's a need. For
Okay.
sure.
I have a really good friend. Let me reach out to him.
Awesome.
If he'd be willing to come out and do that.
I had some people in mind that I would ask, and I'm like, well, they're pretty busy. I don't know if I can. But then I've been so focused on other things this week. After Wednesday, I was going to get right back to doing it.
Well, I'll reach out. At least that's the least I can do is reach out to him and see if
that would be amazing.
He would bring his 2 drones out and fly them from each direction.
That would be cool. Yeah, I did want that. The city is going to do some of that. I don't think they have drones. But yeah, I want people I need as much video as possible. Definitely for the world record, but also for, we want to document this.
Absolutely. You want to document how much joy you're spreading at one time in one location.
Yeah, it's got to be a sight, right? Like a big long line of people.
Absolutely. All
doing the same thing, something positive. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. You're going to be, I mean, a lot of the times when I finish shows or, do interviews, I'm so energized, having these conversations. I can only imagine the type of energy that you're going to have after putting that together and succeeding. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I hope so.
I think you're going to go run 2 marathons after that. You're going to have so much energy.
It's funny. You talked about, I hope you don't die or whatever. Yeah. I swear if I die, it's going to be doing this, right? I'll be at least I'll have my sign, right? Someone's going to run me over or something. And then, my tombstone could be the arms coming out of the ground.
Just like
the sign.
That would be amazing. Yeah. So other than that, you're asking people to show up. We got the time, we got the place. Anything else that we can put out there that you're looking for to get this accomplished?
I still need some volunteers.
Okay.
So if you go to, it's motivationmile.showmeasign.org. I put together a page. It has signups. People can sign up.
Awesome.
Has all the information. Yeah. So if you go to motivationmile.showmeasign.org, you can get all of the information and then you can sign up. I need some other people to sign up for the individual positions to help coordinate the line.
Okay.
Right. So to stand every so often, make sure people are lined up. All right, we're doing it, and just coordinate some of that. And those people will be able to participate, right? Once everybody's lined up, you can
they'll hop in line with their sign.
Yeah, for sure. So I do need still some volunteer spots filled there, but you can sign up on that page.
Okay. No, we'll make sure we're going to post all this in the podcast description so you guys will be able to click that link, go right to it. So jump in. Let's see this thing succeed. I can't wait to be part of it. We've talked about it. I think we're going to try to coordinate to be there right on time as well as a family and, just do it as a family.
Yeah.
And I've invited all my friends that live out there too. And I just said, hey, you guys need to get out of the house. You need to come do this.
Get out of the house.
It's only a couple hours and you get to be part of something amazing. I just want to say thank you. You've brought so much joy, happiness. Just what you're doing is just so inspiring. And I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. And thank you for coming here and sharing the story about how this all came about.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Well, I hope that a lot of people have enjoyed this as much as I have. Again, as we finish these episodes, the only way we can do this is with your support as well. So like this, share this, send it to somebody who needs the inspiration today. Send it to somebody that needs to hear, I believe in you. Put it out there in the world. That's at least what you can do. If you're not running, at least share this and it'll tell his story and it'll put it out there, maybe inspire somebody that you know that does run. So thank you again for everybody tuning in. Ben, thank you for coming. This is absolutely wonderful.
Of course.
I can't wait for the event in a couple weeks. And everybody, hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, surviving life's pickles, we believe in you.